I'll read it and
Hey guys, I'm still in the hillside garden. I'm about midway. I'm where the pathway divides. And we're going to talk about Cercis canadensis, or eastern redbud. The leaf arrangement is alternate. The leaf form is simple, and the leaf margin is entire. And we talked about this very early on. It has the zigzag stem as a result of its alternate leaf arrangement, which is a good identifier when it doesn't have leaves in the winter. This is a tree. It's broadleaf and deciduous. The height is small, so it's going to be less than 25 feet. The form is rounded to vase, so you can see that loose vase structure there. Let me back up, see if I can. It's a glum day, so I don't know if you can really appreciate the rounded form. It's not really picky about soil. It does want good drainage. It was noted that it doesn't like its roots to be constantly wet, or as we often say, to have wet feet. It has a pretty desirable habit, so I would avoid pruning unless absolutely necessary, unless you have an offending limb. This guy, we've been taking a little bit out just because the backside of it was previously shaded, so it had some old branches, and we have been lightly pruning some of the branches that overhang the walkway so as to not impede traffic. Growth rate is average. Exposure to light is sun to partial. I tend to see this in the wild right on the edge of the woodland. Climactic hardiness zones 4 to 9. Landscape uses naturalized setting or specimen. Flowers are showy in the spring and they're a lavender pink. The fruit is profuse. It is a pod. When ripe, it's brownish black. It's 2 to 3 inches long, and it's not edible. So as a spring bloomer, we can't appreciate its blooms now, but these are the pods. And so you'll see how they're oriented right along the stem. The flowers cluster along the stem. They are not pendulous or held out from the plant in any way. So when this plant, it blooms when it doesn't have leaves early in the spring. And so when it blooms, it's as if the branches are highlighted in pink because of the way it clings to the stem. This particular specimen is alba, so this one actually blooms white. I don't prefer it in the spring. I love the bright lilac pink that emerges, so this is not one of my favorites. Autumn color is dependably yellow. Leaf texture is medium to coarse. And so when we talk about texture, it's oftentimes size related. So look at the size of that leaf compared to my hand. That's a big leaf. So that's why the coarse texture. And it's heart-shaped. That's always a good identifier. The notable bark characteristics, the bark is not exfoliating, but it does tend to be very dark in color, not gray or silvery as so many barks. It tends to be very dark. I think you can appreciate that on the main trunk there. Notable cultivars, as I said, alba is one. Just down the way here, I'm walking through the hillside. This is my son Reese. He's always my helper. This is forest pansy. Forest pansy has dark purple leaves with rose purple flowers. So late in the season, the leaves lose some of that purple hue. They have more of the bold purple hue in the spring when they first emerge. But forest pansy's been around a long time, and it's a very popular plant because of that moody foliage. And you cannot see it, but I'm going to do a 180. So here's forest pansy. We're at the third bridge from the top of the hillside. I'm going to do a 180. And if you look through the stream, and there's a hot pink crepe myrtle blooming in the background, and right in front of it, that is another cultivar we have called Oklahoma. And Oklahoma has very glossy foliage with purple flowers. So it's right beside the bench at the second bridge. Pests and diseases, canker, leaf spot, and verticillium wilt. I was looking to see, these have a little bit of leaf spot going on, It's been my estimation or my experience that forest pansy in particular likes a little bit more shaded conditions in the sandhills. This might be just a little exposed for it. It is a North Carolina native. It is a U.S. native. It is not invasive, and I found no reference to salt tolerance. I've already told you about the zigzag stems. This is in your textbook, Durr, page 238. And so we've looked at the 3 specimens in the hillside garden. There is a weeping specimen in front of Steed Hall. We looked at that earlier this year on one of our walks, but so there are several throughout the gardens. Thanks.